Hey, welcome. I may have a message for you here today. Okay, the core themes that we're going to discuss about today relates to the energy of transformation, right? And there's a distinct image that I'd like to put into your minds. The transformation can be of like we can think about a snake that sheds its skin as also transformation, right? But the other one that I want to draw your attention to today is we're going to be talking about the theme of transformation, like that of a plant that is being uprooted from its place and being placed elsewhere, right? Even though both of them come under the broad umbrella of transformations, there is a distinction in the way they are carried out. Okay, that is the primary theme for today's message. So there are also some supporting elements to this core theme, right? While the core theme itself is like we discussed the imagery of a plant being uprooted and placed somewhere else, we're also going to be talking about the elements related to it, right? Which is dissolution, loss, and disorder. Like to put it simply, maybe these are some things that you've been thinking about lately, or these could be themes that have come up recently in your life. Could be on any field of your life, but these are the themes, right? And lastly, we're also going to be talking about two things together, which is the power itself of being able to break apart from an existing structure or system, and also uh, parallelly, we're also going to talk about sharp and severe actions, right? So you can pull all of them together because they can be said to be different sides or walls of the same building or structure, but we can also look at them individually, right? Which is what we're going to do. So these could be themes that you've had to go through in your mind recently, or maybe you went through them at some point in your life, and there is some part of it that needs to be processed. So that's why you're getting it through this message. I think it's possible. Anyway, because I think these are also themes that a lot of people do go through, so it is more general in nature. It's not too super specific, but yeah, let's talk about this. Okay, so if you stayed, it means you clearly resonate with this idea of having many restarts in your life, like of having drastic restarts in your life, where you feel like the very foundation on which you have built the experience of life suddenly is being taken away at some point. Maybe it's something you had to experience uh, in the past, or maybe you're going through it right now, right? It could be either. Uh, or maybe you're preparing for it for the future. I don't know exactly, but this is the energy or theme that we're looking at over here. We're dealing with over here, right? Yeah, this experience can be really painful. Let's start out with that because when life as you know it ends and you are forced to come up with a new logic, a new way of seeing life, a new way of dealing with it, it's not it's definitely not easy, at least, right? Because you're going to be constantly expanding your boundaries, and that is not comfortable, right? Comfortable is staying within your boundaries, and when you're forced to do it, there's it's just like a strict teacher, with a cane, like chasing behind you. It's painful in a way, but then this reading is gonna, like, I'm gonna tell you to look at the finer details. I know there's this analogy that's like overly used and so cliched about uh, a sculptor who hits rocks and gets statues out of them, right? He's carving it, right? He's carving the rock. So that's kind of what's going on over here. You can tell it even that way. Like, I used the plant being uprooted as an example, but this is also an analogy, I guess, where you're being beaten to into something very beautiful, but it's just that the beating is painful and it's not ideal, and we don't want it. We want to be comfortable, and we want to stay uh, in good feelings and good moments most of the time. But but unfortunately, right, it is a part of nature, right? I mean, why even say unfortunately? Fortunately or unfortunately, we don't know, but this is just a feature of nature, right? Calamities do happen, and they have a suddenness in nature. That's the whole point of it, right? It's the whole point of a surprise. But this could manifest for you. I'm rambling, but this could manifest for you in your real life, where you could feel like people who you thought were your closest friends to just vanish overnight. It feels like the energy just changes. You could get fired from your job and you don't know where to go now. Or maybe you're young, and you when you were young your parents moved to a different country, or even better, they just sent you to a different country, and you had to reintegrate into a new culture, a new society, new language, in a new part of the world. So there's so many ways this can come up, right? We've all had to do restarts at some point in our lives, even though the degrees vary, and we're talking about quite a higher degree of being pulled apart from the life as you know it from before. Okay. Yes. To add on to this, I want to point your attention towards something. When we're going through something like this, you will feel like everything is happening to you and nothing is happening for you. And whatever is happening for you is also happening to be against you. You point fingers at yourself, and you kind of start blaming yourself in a way, right? Because you are the only thing that remains from your older version of life, from your older existence. It's funny because the experience is also happening inside you, and the experience is also happening to you, right? So you kind of like feel like the world is against you, but I'm here to tell you, no, it's not. It's just that it feels that way because everything around you is dissolving, right? There is loss and disorder around you. It's because you're functioning differently. Time has changed for you in a way that you are meant to go to a different place and environment, and nature itself is putting you there, right? You don't have a choice. That's the sad part, I feel, because it's not like you don't have a conscious choice. At least, like, if you could do the same thing, you'd want to do it, but you'd want to do it in a very easy and comfortable way. But life is like, nope, you gotta do it right now. So it just pushes you into the deep sea, to the ocean, and you're gonna you already know how to swim. You just need to remember, right? But you don't know that exactly, so you think you're drowning, and then you go through the whole struggle, and then you learn to swim, right? But and then you end up swimming, but during the process you don't know it, right? That's the joke. Right? I'm sorry, but it's just how it is. But then there's also once this transformation phase ends, right? There's definitely new opportunity coming your way. You'll be given back to by the same way the universe takes away from you. It will force blessings onto you. Like, you don't have an option even in that, right? And this is reminds me of, this is exactly why you are always advised to by the wise people, is to be graceful in defeat and humble in victory. I believe that's the way the saying goes, because a lot of the times outside circumstances need to align for things to work out for you, right? And this transformation phase, this intense transformation of feeling uprooted, where there's loss and disorder around you, right, shows the kind of transformation that happens without you instigating it, without your feels like it's out of your will. Okay, when you really focus in on it. But the same way, like I said, once the transformation does happen, you are going to be forced good things, forcefully. There'll be blessings that come into your life, right? So yeah, so I hope that helps, right? But again, let me remind you, like, the destruction is a part of nature, death is a part of life. Like, you can't have one without the other. And in a way it's good, I would say, because a lot of growth happens for people who go through these kind of movements, intense transformations. It's not because if not, you're going to be stuck where you are, right? Even if you're growing materially, even if you're growing in size physically, on some level you'll be stuck, right? And that is not optimal. We always want to be in motion. So on that front, yay for you. Okay, when it comes to dealing with losses, when people, right? I just want to talk about that real quick, because when these kind of transformational events occur in life, uh, I think a lot of the people are going to mostly find it difficult to deal with people leaving your life, or feeling like people are against you, or like they are lying to you, or it's like it just feels off, right? Your close connections feel off, and you feel abandoned in a way. So when these events, hugely transformational things occur, and for that, if this is something you're going through, I want to bring it to your attention that you need to understand that your energy has changed, right? The way your functioning has changed. It's like only when there is enough friction, there's enough attraction in energy between two units, will they be orbiting each other, basically, right? When there's no friction, right? There's no grip. It's natural or normal for those parts that are not exactly stuck to you to fall away, right? And only those which are connected to your roots will remain, basically. So, I think a good way of handling the losses that come during this phase is to happily let them all go, right? It's cleaning, it's cleansing, right, in every possible way. Just let it go altogether, and just let the universe itself decide who should stay and who should go, because you are going to try to hold on to everything possible, right? By you, I mean the person going through this experience, right? Because for us, for you or whoever, it's just that you want to hold on to as much as possible because that's familiar, right? Unfamiliar things, we don't want that all the time, right? And and also your mind has a tricky way of rewriting the story as you being betrayed, you being lied to, you people rejecting you, but that's not what's happening, right? In a way, a version of you is what's rejecting them. You're not willing to stay at their level on energetically, and that's why they are forced to move away, right? It's because you're evolving, right? But the ego, what you perceive, the mind will be like, you know what, they're all leaving you and going. And if that's the case, I'm going to tell you it's good for you, right? I mean, obviously use your discernment, right? There are situations where you might have to change your behavior, but the general theme, when we're talking about a general situation, yes, you're going to have a lot of loss, which is basically cleansing, clutter going away. Okay. Now, after that, we also need to talk about this, the power to break apart. Now, power is usually a good thing, but like we all know from all the history books and all the TV shows that we've seen, where power has been misused, or power is what leads to problems, right? The same way, the power to break apart itself is something that you would, because of your experience in these intense things in life, you naturally, this will become your strong suit, where if something doesn't work, you'll just cut it off, energetic. You don't want to give to it, which is fair, I mean, I totally get it. Uh, but I just want to bring your attention to that behavior, right? Maybe you can improvise on it, or you can use it differently if you had the awareness about this particular behavior. So that's the whole purpose of it coming up in this reading, I think, that when you have the power to break apart, you come from a place of destruction. Destroy what's not working, get rid of it, right? You're not thinking about how do we fix it, how do we preserve it, right? I also want to remind you that neither is right or wrong, right? Both are just modes of existence. Upstream, downstream, it's still water flowing, right? It's just the direction changes. Neither is wrong, but an imbalance can cause difficulties in life, right? You also don't want to be trying to complete all the time repairing things. Sometimes you need to get rid of old stuff and get new stuff. At the same time, you shouldn't also try to cut things off the first time you notice something wrong about it. Cutting it off is also extreme, right? So imbalances are something to be careful about, but generally, right? I don't think I think there's no good or bad about it, but I do want to put your attention to it because it's interesting that your power to break apart is also kind of what causes these huge transformations. Okay, I hope this has been resonating or useful. Thank you for sticking around. Good job for sticking around, and remember, you're always loved. And if it's a question of love or fear, try to choose love, and life will always be easier. Okay, bye.